So today we'll be talking about Leonard Williams and should the Giants extend him, let him walk, franchise tag him once again. This has been a very heavily debated topic on Giants Twitter and amongst many Giants fans the past couple weeks or so, and the Giants have essentially three options here. Either you A, extend Leonard Williams for about a 4-year deal, maybe even 5, I think it's 4, for about $20 million per year, so a 4-year, $80 million contract, which to me sounds insane. You can franchise tag him once again for, I have the number somewhere, it was 1 year, a franchise tag, $19.3 million, which of course is a lot for 1 year, but it's a 1-year commitment as compared to 4 or 5. And then, of course, you have the option of just letting him walk, which I think would benefit the Giants in a way if they replace him and use that money wisely elsewhere. But I'll give my opinion about it. Leave in the comments what you think the Giants should do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get into it. All right, so we'll try to go in order here. So I have his stats on the top left if you're interested in that. But the franchise tag, once again, it's a 1-year deal, basically $19.3 million. That's not what you want, but if I'm between that and giving him a 4-year, $80 million deal or something around that area, I'd rather take the franchise tag once again. And you can franchise a player up to 3 times, I believe. So if they're in this predicament next year, they can do the same damn thing. It's probably not a good idea. It's not good management, but I personally have a hard time committing to Leonard Williams having one awesome year in his career. Leonard Williams had another really good year somewhere for the Jets. I forget what year it was exactly. I have his stats somewhere. 2016, his second year. Had a good year, 7 sacks, 68 tackles, 11 tackles for loss. But this year just was amazing. 11.5 sacks, 57 tackles. He had 14 tackles for loss, 30 quarterback hits, which was a career high. He was phenomenal for the Giants. But it's like, can I really pay a guy for 1 year of that type of production when just last year, Leonard Williams, while yes, got a lot of sacks, was not producing in the stat sheet? Like, Leonard Williams was just a good player last year. Like, this year he was great. Last year he was just good. So who is Leonard Williams? I don't want to pay $19-20 million for just a good football player. He needs to be great. He needs to be at an elite level. He cannot be just a good football player. So while I like Leonard Williams, and I don't want to mix up any words here, I think Leonard Williams is a good football player, not a great one. So I'm not saying he's not good, but at the same time, I have a hard time committing that much money in that many years to a guy who only proved it once. And I think if I'm the Giants and I'm between franchise tag or a long-term deal, I'm going franchise tag. I want to see it happen again. If you do it twice in a row, Leonard Williams, then you earn that money. I just don't want to see it happen for 1 year and then have him revert back to this player that's not as impactful as he was in 2020. That would not be a good way to spend your $20 million per year. So Patrick Graham's scheme, I want to touch on that as well. I mean, let's see. He definitely benefited from this scheme, and like a lot of times the Giants would be in zone coverage, and like the Giants would have some coverage sacks. The Giants definitely, the Giants secondary had some really good moments this year, and Leonard Williams definitely had some coverage sacks. I'm not going to lie. There were a couple sacks in there where he was untouched. So it's not like, stats are sometimes deceiving. It's not like every sack is created equally, and I feel like he put Leonard Williams, he being Patrick Graham, in a great position to succeed. Like, this was a good scheme for him, and he's still here, Patrick Graham, so it makes sense. But the other big part of it is that 2 guys on the defensive line, not named Leonard Williams, were like 2 of the most double-team players in the NFL. So if Dalvin Tomlinson and Dexter Lawrence are getting double-teamed all the time, what does that mean for Leonard Williams? It means he's probably on an island with one other guy by himself. So if you have 2 other defensive linemen next to you that are getting all the attention, it makes Leonard Williams' life a lot easier, which is why, once again, I would rather re-sign Dalvin Tomlinson than I would Leonard Williams. I think Leonard Williams is the better football player, but who's a better fit for the Giants? Who makes more sense financially? I think Dalvin Tomlinson does, because Dalvin Tomlinson's contract, if I had to guess off the top of my head, is probably going to be like 3 years and $36 million as compared to Leonard Williams, who's the 4 years for $80 million, something outrageous. Like, I'd rather take Dalvin Tomlinson plus another good player, because you're not just going to, put that money to the side. You can sign Dalvin Tomlinson for that 3-year, $36 million contract and sign another good cornerback, a wide receiver, an edge rusher, someone like that. Like, if you're just throwing $20 million at Leonard Williams, that's it. That's one player. So, like, how much can one Leonard Williams do for you? Give me the Dalvin Tomlinson and another good player next to him. I had that Twitter question the other day. Would you rather have Dalvin Tomlinson and Shelby Harris, who's a really good defensive lineman for the Broncos, very underrated player? Would you rather have those two guys for around $10 to $12 million per year, or one Leonard Williams? Give me Shelby Harris and Dalvin Tomlinson any damn day. Like, I'm sorry. I know Leonard Williams is a good player, and it's easy to overrate your own players, especially after seeing the kind of year that Leonard Williams had. But you have to think about this logically. Like, Leonard Williams was not this player in 2019. He was not this player in 2018. He was not really this player in 2017. So Leonard Williams, all of a sudden in this contract year, plays like God, and now we're supposed to give him $20 million? Like, that just seems like a little too rich for my blood. I'm not going to lie. So I want to see it happen again. If it's up to me, I'm franchise tagging him or I'm letting him walk. And honestly, if it was up to me, I'd probably let him walk. I'd rather re-sign Dalvin Tomlinson, sign another good player, whether it's a Shelby Harris, a William Jackson, a Curtis Samuel, a Corey Davis, whoever it may be. I'd rather get the two good players instead of the one really good player. That's what I would want. So I think there are cheaper and better alternative options out there. I kind of laid out a few for you guys. There are some other guys. Would you rather have Dalvin Tomlinson and Yannick Ngakoue, or would you rather just have Leonard Williams? There's a lot of options you can put out in front of you. This is a pretty good free agency class, so it's not like there's just a bunch of bums out there and we have no one to replace him with. I feel like if you let Leonard Williams go, you're not done. And there's even some guys on the roster. Like, don't forget about B.J. Hill. B.J. Hill was a good player when he was in there. Austin Johnson, who was on a one-year deal, who hopefully they re-sign, was on a was playing well for the Giants when he was in there. Even R.J. McIntosh, a guy they drafted out of Miami a few years ago, not that bad of a player. He just doesn't play a lot. Like, R.J. McIntosh is not Leonard Williams, but it's not like he's a bad player either. You have guys to rotate in there and help fill the void if Leonard Williams is not there. So I feel like if the Giants do let Leonard Williams walk, will some Giants fans be on suicide watch? Maybe. I don't know why, but it's not like the end of the world. I really feel like they will be fine in life after Leonard Williams. I just don't really think it's not like a necessity to re-sign him. It's not like this is the most important player on the Giants roster going up for free agency. You know what I mean? So that's it. If I'm between Leo and Dalvin, and one guy is twice, is worth twice as much, and you have to pay Leonard Williams $20 million as compared to Dalvin Tomlinson making $10 to $12 million for 1 year, or per year, give me Dalvin Tomlinson. That's the way it is for me. I mean, you guys may disagree, and it's definitely a topic that a lot of people have strong opinions about, and I respect everyone's opinion, but it just goes back to the thing I said before. Don't overrate your own players. I don't know if it's just the Giants fan base or what, but we are very good at overrating our own players. You have to look at it from a perspective of the 31 other teams out there. Where does Leonard Williams rank amongst those guys? Is Leonard Williams even a top 100 player in football? I don't know. He might not be, honestly. Like, I could probably name some other, I don't know if I can name 100 better players, but definitely a lot more better players than Leonard Williams. So, like, it's not like it's a slam dunk. Like, here's this big-ass contract, and now go out there and just do it every year. It's not going to happen, probably. And I said before, regression is a real thing in sports. Leonard Williams might go from 11.5 sacks this year to 5.5, 6, 4. Like, he might just have a big decline. And I would bet anybody right now that he probably doesn't get double-digit sacks next year. Like, that's not the norm. That's not who Leonard Williams is. There's such thing as having outlier seasons. Like, it happens. So obviously I hope if he signs with the Giants, he ends up being a stud for the rest of his career, but I can't count on that. I want to see more of it. I can't go off of 1 year. I feel like that would be kind of foolish, but, as a fan, whatever they do, I'm going to have to live with it, but I'm just saying, if it's up to me, I'm taking the Dalvin Tomlinson plus pretty good player route. I'm not going just the one Leonard Williams route. It just does not. I just feel like that's not the best way to maximize your assets here. It's just, it's a salary cap league and only spend so much. I'm not spending $18, $19, $20 million per year on one guy who had one breakout year, basically. He had another great year back in 2016. So he's had 2 great years and a 6-year NFL career. I mean, who is he? It's the same thing with Carson Wentz. Was an MVP 1 year, really bad 1 year, and was average for another 2 years, or, pretty good for another 2 years. Who is Carson Wentz? He's not an MVP. He's not the worst quarterback in the league, but he's a pretty good quarterback. Who is that? Who is Leonard Williams? Is he a top 5 interior pass rusher or defensive end in a 3-4 in the NFL? Is he a guy that's that we saw back in 2017 where he wasn't as effective, even 2019? Or is he the guy that we saw back in like 2016 when he was pretty good, or even as a rookie? Like, that's who he probably is. Like, I think Leonard Williams is somewhere between what he was in 2020 and 2019. He's not as ineffective as he was in 2019, but he's also not as good as he was in 2020, if you know what I mean. So he's somewhere in between that. You can't overpay just because a guy had an awesome year and a contract year. That's where teams go wrong. That's where Albert Hainsworth happens. That's where, X player happens that signed a big contract after a big year. So that's why I would be hesitant if I'm the Giants. So that's pretty much it. You may disagree, but that's my 2 cents basically. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Once again, subscribe to the new channel if you have not yet. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content over here. I'll try to do Giants videos more often. I was kind of slacking, but leave in the comments some ideas for future videos. I feel like I'll do some film reviews once like the draft's over and stuff like that. I want to do Darnay Holmes, might do like Tate Crowder, some other like young guys in there. A lot of mock draft stuff hopefully in the future. Not a lot. I'll do like 2 or 3 mock drafts. Not going to do a ton, but I'll do some more draft research and all those type of things. Free agency's coming up soon, so I'll do a video for that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time.